Close your eyes for a moment and listen to your own breathing. It rises, falls, rises, falls. This silent, repeated, discrete movement is a reminder. Life is not an infinite sprint. Life is made of tide. There is ancient wisdom written in the body itself that asks for space between efforts so that strength can return. The world screams urgency, but the soul understands rhythm. And this is where the code of productive rest begins. The sacred right to slow down without guilt. The serene courage to stop in order to continue better. The act of faith that says, I do my part and I trust that the seed also works in the darkness. Perhaps you have felt the mental virus of exhaustion, that sensation that if you stop, everything will crumble. If you rest, you'll fall behind. If you sleep, someone else will get ahead. It's a virus that feeds on fear and installs silent beliefs. Worth equals performance. Love is bought with effort. Peace is a prize that only comes after reaching the top. This seductive logic corrodes from within. You produce more hours, but less life. You deliver more tasks, but less present. And without realizing it, the guilt of resting becomes an invisible chain, heavy, yet so normalized that you barely notice it. I want to invite you to make a pact with truth. You were not made to function like a machine that never shuts down. Even the sun doesn't decide to stay in the sky 24 hours to perform more. Even the ocean recedes before advancing. Nature knows that rest is part of the cycle of power. Spiritual wisdom confirms there is a time to sow and a time to reap, a time to build and a time to gather, a time to speak and a time to be silent. Rest is not an optional luxury. It's the law that protects the harvest from burnout. In body psychology, there exists a break that saves. The nervous system alternates between agitation and calm to keep us whole. Stress without pause becomes corrosion, and what could be brilliant focus transforms into a narrow tunnel. Creativity needs internal space. Ideas need soft soil. The brain, when it rests, is not idle. It activates networks that connect distant points, reorganizes memory, removes metabolic waste from the mind. It's as if the carpenter put away tools for a time to sharpen them, knowing they would return more precise. Without this pause, the blade continues scraping wood, but the cut worsens with each path. When you allow yourself to rest, something invisible realigns. Anxiety slows down. The heart finds a more human rhythm. Attention stops being hostage to small fires. Your vision expands. You stop reacting to the world and return to responding from center. Resting is a form of humility. You admit you are not God, that the universe doesn't collapse if you pause, that the harvest depends not only on the hand that plants, but on rain, soil, time, and this you cannot control. This humility doesn't weaken, it liberates you. It removes the weight of the impossible and places on your agenda only what is yours. The code of productive rest begins with a conscious choice. I break with guilt and commit to rhythm. You don't need to ask permission from fear to honor the body. Fear will say you'll lose out. But lose what? Lose the chance to be whole when it matters? Lose the joy of the journey? Lose the clarity that only appears when the noise quiets? Haste promises shortcuts. Rest reveals paths. When you pause with wisdom, your productivity becomes deeper, your work cleaner, your intuition sharper. Breathe. Imagine that each inhalation gathers fragments of yourself scattered throughout the day, and each exhalation returns what isn't yours to carry. Let tensions exit like old dust through an open window. If guilt appears, welcome it like a frightened child. I see you, but today I choose trust. You don't need to fight with guilt, just disarm it with truth. Resting isn't abandonment, it's maintenance. The gardener who doesn't stop to sharpen the shears ruins the garden. The The pilot who doesn't check the aircraft before takeoff isn't brave, they're reckless. Caring for rest is an act of responsibility. There's a cultural misconception worth dismantling. The myth that a person's value equals their packed agenda. What makes your life valuable isn't how many tasks fit in your day, but how much life fits within the tasks. Some do much, yet are always absent from themselves. Some do less, yet remain whole, and the quality of what they deliver resonates. Quantity without presence is sand slipping through closed fingers. Presence without excess is water that feeds roots. Better work springs from the meeting between focus and rest, not from friction between anxiety and fear. Body science confirms creativity flourishes when we alternate intense effort with real pauses. The brain needs to exit hyperfocus to activate a broader mode where unlikely connections appear. This is why ideas are born in the shower, during a walk, in a gaze lost through a window. This emptiness is fertile. It's not waste, it's fermentation. If you try to think all the time, you muffle the silence where answers form. If you sleep trying to solve the world, you rob the night of its function to stitch memories, repair tissues, restore the soul. Think of rest as a sacred pact with 3 rhythms: the rhythm of the day, the rhythm of the week, the rhythm of the season. Throughout the day, alternate blocks of deep presence with intervals that truly disconnect you. Throughout the week, offer yourself a day of fallow land where productivity gives way to attention, connection, contemplation. Throughout the season, give yourself real vacations, not vacations of the body with the mind on alert, but a truce from your own imperative to produce. These patterns don't take you out of the game. They return you whole to the field. You might tell me, but my reality doesn't allow stopping. I hear your pain and don't minimize it. I only ask for an honest experiment. Trade 1 hour of tired effort for 30 minutes of rest that truly repairs you, followed by 30 minutes of complete work. Observe the difference. Or substitute 15 minutes more of screen time at night for 15 minutes of conscious silence, a gentle walk, an unhurried bath, an open journal. Observe sleep the next day. Observe the mind. Rest doesn't need to begin gigantic. It needs to begin real. Productive rest is intentional. It doesn't happen accidentally in the gaps of leftovers. It's protected as priority. The simplest way to protect it is by creating gentle boundaries. Tell your day, work until here. From here on, I recover. Tell your phone, you are a tool. You don't own me. Tell notifications, only call me when I'm available. At dusk, trade very cold lights for warmer light. Reduce noise. Slow the body. Let the mind know the cycle is turning. Night is the cradle of the next day. Treat it as a temple. If guilt persists, remember, rest is an act of faith. When you pause, you confess that abundance can grow without micromanagement, that time works alongside you, that there is something beyond your control operating in your favor. Earth produces while the seed sleeps. The heart beats without conscious command. Air enters, air exits. Your role is to cooperate with what already is, not to fight against life's fabric. Faith isn't passivity, it's alignment. You act with excellence when it's
For some, it will come as deep silence. For others, as a gentle stroll. For others, a good conversation that demands no performance. For others, music, prayer, reading, a nap. There are different types of fatigue, and therefore different types of rest. Physical fatigue asks for body rest. Mental fatigue asks for stimulus rest. Emotional fatigue asks for comfort and expression. Creative fatigue asks for horizons, nature, fertile boredom. Listen to yourself. If you offer fresh water to a salt thirst, the body will remain desperate. Treat rest as practice that deepens. In the first days, perhaps the mind will become more agitated, like someone unaccustomed to silence after living beside a highway. Be patient. Internal noise will quiet. Each day, 5, 10, 15 minutes of loving attention to yourself opens space for the system to reorganize priorities. You don't need to become a monk to harvest these fruits. You need gentle consistency. You need to anchor rest in simple, repeated gestures. Thinking about rest doesn't rest you. Only practice rests. Observe the silent profit born from this decision. You begin to say no more clearly to what steals from you. You start choosing battles better, working with presence that dispenses with heroics, intuiting the path with less friction. You stop confusing urgency with importance. You feel more whole in conversations, fairer with yourself in planning, more honest with your own limits, and most surprising, you produce more with fewer hours because you stopped conflicting with yourself. Rest sharpens your aim, and sharp aim is power. When a thought comes accusing you're being weak, respond with firm gentleness. I'm strengthening my roots. When the wind of "they'll pass you by" blows, respond. My place doesn't depend on another's speed, but on the integrity of my step. When life presses, and it does, use rest as a war tool. Wars are won with strategy, not just courage. Sleep to think better, breathe to reduce noise, walk to open space between stimulus and response. Stop before answering that inflammatory email. Give a glass of water to your own anger, and it will tell you what really hurts. Rest in these moments doesn't weaken you, it positions you. Posture is advantage. Practice gentleness with your transitions. Upon finishing work, celebrate in silence for 10 seconds. Upon entering home, breathe at the door, leaving outside the weight that needn't accompany you. Upon lying down, thank 3 things. Upon waking, choose a simple intention for the day. These small rites embroider meaning on the everyday's edges. Life will recognize you more easily when you treat it with honor. If rest still seems forbidden, use productivity's language in your favor. See it as a project, the project of a body returning to balance, the project of a mind learning to disconnect, the project of a heart returning to trust. Write how your week will be with pause spaces. Test, measure mood, clarity, sleep, presence, adjust. It's not militancy, it's science applied to your well-being. Each cycle you'll find the point where you produce more without injuring yourself. When you catch yourself comparing, remember, you don't know others backstage. Sometimes behind the image of always on exists an exhausted heart wanting to ask for help. Don't use others' showcase to judge your truth. Use your truth to protect what matters most. Productive rest is ultimately an act of radical honesty. I want to go far, but I want to take myself with me. Now breathe once more. Bring one hand to chest, another to abdomen. Feel life happening under your hands. Bring to mind a place that does you good. Allow the body to memorize this sensation. When guilt's virus tries to enter, you will have antibodies. This embodied memory, this breath that opens internal doors, this pact you made with your own peace. From here, your work will be something else. Not a war against the clock, but a conversation with time. Spend the afternoon with presence. When tired, stop. When returning, return completely. At the end of day, sing gratitude. Each week, take one day off productivity's pedestal and consecrate it to life. If someone finds it strange, smile with serenity. You're learning to work with deep laws that sustain everything that grows. Rest is one of them. Respect it, and it will respect you. If, along the way, you feel relapses, don't blame yourself for blaming yourself. Recognize, embrace, restart. Restart is the most democratic power that exists. It's always available. It doesn't demand performance. It demands only a simple, honest choice. Today, again, I choose rhythm. This phrase seems small, but it changes agenda, relationships, health, clarity, resources. The world responds to those who respond to their own center. Bring into your life images that remind you of truth: tides, season, sleeping sea, field at rest, breath sound. When excess temptation comes, look at them and return. Excess will always promise control. Rest will return real control. Mastery over self, governance of your own pace, ability to say enough with love and now with courage. May your journey be marked by this wisdom: rest as alliance with life, productivity as fruit of this alliance. You don't need to prove anything to rest. It's already yours by right, engraved in your biology, guaranteed by the intelligence that sustains the universe. Enter and stay. Your future prosperity thanks you for present care. Your creativity, freed from siege, will sing again, and when it sings, you'll know it was in silence between one effort and another that music was born. Be caretaker of yourself. Be guardian of your rhythm. Be witness to how well-placed rest transforms decisions, unlocks intuition, gives you words at the right time, spares you from battles that aren't yours. Work with honor, and when it's time to stop, stop with the same zeal. This is the code, not a hidden secret, but a truth that was always there, waiting for you to say yes. Today, you said it. The ripple effect of rest. Now that you've embraced the code of productive rest, observe how this choice creates waves far beyond your personal experience. Rest is never a solitary act. It ripples outward, touching every relationship, every project, every person who encounters your restored energy. This final chapter is about understanding the profound interconnectedness of your well-being and recognizing that your commitment to rest is actually a gift to the world. When you show up rested, you show up different. Your patience expands like a lake after rain. Your children sense it first. They stop walking on eggshells around your fatigue and begin to trust your presence. Your partner receives not just your physical proximity, but your emotional availability. Your colleagues encounter someone who listens instead of just waiting for their turn to speak. Customers feel heard rather than processed. This transformation isn't subtle, it's cellular. Rest doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are in the room. Consider the economics of your exhaustion. When you operate from depletion, you make expensive mistakes. You say yes to commitments that drain rather than energize. You take longer to complete tasks that could be finished efficiently. You create conflicts that require time and emotional currency to resolve. You miss opportunities because your clouded vision can't recognize them. The hidden cost of tiredness shows up in revisions, apologies, missed deadlines, and relationships that require repair. Rest, from this perspective, isn't a luxury. It's the most practical investment you can make. But the ripple effect extends beyond immediate productivity. When you normalize rest in your life, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living example that success doesn't require self-destruction. Your team members notice that you take lunch breaks and slowly stop eating at their desks. Your friends observe that you decline evening plans when you need solitude and begin to honor their own social boundaries. Your family sees that you protect your sleep and starts to question their own midnight screen habits. Leadership through rest is quiet but revolutionary. There's a generational component to this ripple effect that deserves attention. If you have children, your relationship with rest becomes their first education about self-care. They're watching how you handle stress, whether you believe you're worthy of care. If you think exhaustion equals virtue, when you model healthy boundaries, you're not just caring for yourself, you're breaking cycles. You're saying to the next generation, your worth isn't measured by your depletion. You are valuable at rest. Think about the creative projects that die in the valley of exhaustion. The
business ideas never pursued because there was no mental space to dream. The conversations never had because there was no emotional capacity for depth. The risks never taken because fatigue convinces us to play it safe. Rest creates space for the unlikely, for the ideas that only emerge when the mind has room to wander, for the connections that only form when the heart isn't defending against overwhelm. Your rest might be the catalyst for innovation that changes everything. The spiritual dimension of this ripple effect is profound. When you rest, you're participating in a larger rhythm that sustains all life. You're acknowledging that you are part of something greater than your individual effort. This humility creates space for grace, for synchronicity, for the mysterious ways that life supports those who align with its deeper patterns. People around you sense this alignment. They feel the peace that comes from being near someone who isn't fighting the current of existence, but flowing with it. Your rested state also transforms your capacity for service. Exhaustion makes us self-protective, turning inward, hoarding our remaining energy. Rest makes us generous. When your own cup is full, you can pour into others without resentment, without keeping score, without the fear that giving will leave you empty. The service that flows from rest is sustainable service. It energizes rather than depletes because it comes from overflow, not from scraping the bottom of the barrel. Consider how your rest affects the quality of your attention. In a world increasingly fragmented by digital distraction and constant stimulation, your ability to be fully present becomes a rare gift. When you're rested, you can offer the kind of attention that makes people feel seen and heard. This quality of presence is becoming so scarce that it's almost therapeutic. Your rested attention becomes a form of healing for others who are drowning in the shallows of divided focus. The ripple effect also extends to your decision-making capacity. Rest clears the fog of reactive thinking and reveals the landscape of possibility. You begin to make choices based on clarity rather than fear, on vision rather than urgency. These better choices create better outcomes, which create more space for rest, which create even better decisions. It's an upward spiral that lifts not just you, but everyone affected by your choices. There's an economic aspect to consider as well. Exhausted people consume differently, often impulsively, seeking quick fixes and temporary reliefs that ultimately create more problems. Rested people consume mindfully. They choose quality over quantity, sustainability over convenience. They have the mental space to consider the long-term consequences of their choices. Your rest contributes to a more thoughtful relationship with the planet's resources. As you continue this journey, pay attention to how your commitment to rest influences the culture around you. You might find that meetings you attend become more efficient because your calm presence prevents unnecessary escalation. Projects you lead might move more smoothly because your clear thinking anticipates problems and solutions. Teams you're a part of might develop healthier work rhythms because you consistently model boundaries. The final ripple is perhaps the most important. Your rest gives others hope. In a culture that glorifies burnout, your thriving through sustainable practices becomes proof that another way is possible. People notice. They see that you're accomplishing meaningful work without sacrificing your health, your relationships, or your joy. This visibility matters more than you realize. You become evidence that the promise of rest isn't false advertising. It's an accessible reality. Remember that this ripple effect isn't immediate or always visible. Like dropping a stone into still water, the waves travel outward at their own pace.
Some effects you'll witness directly: the improved mood of your family, the increased creativity in your work, the deeper sleep that follows a day lived in rhythm. Others will remain invisible: the opportunities that come because someone trusted your calm energy, the crises avoided because you made decisions from clarity, the future that unfolds differently because you chose sustainability over sprint. Trust the process. Your commitment to rest is not selfish, it's strategic. Not lazy, it's leadership. not withdrawal from the world, it's preparation to engage more fully. Every time you honor your need for rest, you cast a vote for a more humane way of being. You contribute to a culture that values wisdom over mere effort, depth over surface activity, being over constant becoming. The code of productive rest is ultimately about remembering your place in the larger web of existence. You are not separate from the rhythms that govern all life. Your rest aligns you with the turning of seasons, the cycles of growth and dormancy, the dance between effort and ease that sustains everything beautiful and lasting. When you rest, you don't step out of the dance, you finally step into it. This is your invitation to become a carrier of this wisdom, not through preaching or teaching, but through living, through the quiet revolution of a life lived in rhythm, through the radical act of being someone who works hard and rests well, who achieves much and enjoys the process, who serves others while honoring themselves. The world needs this example now more than ever. Your rest is a gift you give not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life intersects with yours. Step forward with this knowledge. Your rest ripples outward in ways you may never fully comprehend, creating waves of healing, permission, and hope that touch shores you'll never see. This is the true power of the code, not just personal transformation, but collective renewal, not just individual rest, but cultural evolution, not just your peace, but a more peaceful world.